This is the 2019 version. SQL Server Management Studio, 2019 version. So we're using SQL Server Management. Right. So this is what we have. This is the server, the SQL Server. Now, before we start even running queries, I just want to point out a few things to you. Now, if you want to run queries in SQL, you will be running the queries on tables. To run the queries effectively, you would need to know a few things about the tables that you will be running your queries on. So this is the database. This is where we have the tables. Can everybody see where my cursor is moving around?
Yes.
Can you see that? Yes. So we have here the databases. If I expand this, you would see a few databases there. One of them is the Sql HR, and the other one is the Sql Training. If I open the Sql HR, you would see a number of tables also. You'll see a number of tables there. This is the addresses table, courses, dates columns, employee security, employee work history, employees, job history, jobs, mandatory training, marital status, pay elements, training, work patterns. These are the tables that are built into this particular, or that have been extracted into this server. So if you have your own server, you can update it with tables of your choice. So this is just fictive data that I have borrowed from somewhere that is in there. So it is not something that has come with the server. It is something that has been installed into the server. Right. So let's see. The first thing that we spoke about the last time we did SQL was we said that to run SQL statements, you would need a certain specific number of commands. One of them was the select.
Sorry.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Apologies. Apologies. I have my hand raised.
Oh, sorry.
Quick one. Where do we get this? Yeah, where do we get this SQL? Because we would like to follow along, or at least have an understanding as you teach. Where do we get this SQL, please?
At the moment, you can download this SQL Server Management Studio. It's available online. You can just download it. However, it wouldn't have these tables. It wouldn't have these tables in it. So it would be best we go through it. You can use any other database management system, not necessarily the SQL Server Studio. You can use MySQL, which is easily available. So the most important thing is for you to know what your tables are and what is inside your tables. So I'm going to open up one of the tables and then I will explain that further. Is that okay? Sorry, I cannot see because I'm sharing my screen. I can't see your hands when you raise your hands. So yeah, if you want to ask, if you want to talk, just unmute and then you can speak. Okay.
Yeah. Think it to follow if we have all the things so that we can practice along. But yeah, that's fine, no problem.
Okay, like I said earlier on, at the end of the lesson, I am going to compile the commands in a notepad and then forward to admin, who will then share. So you would have all the commands, and then if you have a database, you can run the commands on the database following the commands that we would use, right? But it's important to you to know how to run your commands So let us get an understanding of that first. Okay. And I'll just use this. I will just use this as an example. Let me see. Let me see this. Let me see that. Okay, let me come back here. Let's say we want to run a command. Okay, let me just see if we have employee table. Let's use the employee table. Let's say that we want to know all the employees. We want to have a record of all the employees in the organization. Let's say all the employees in Blue Sky. We want to know who they are. So what do? We said we use the select command, right? And we did say the last time that Sql is free format. So this select, though I have written it in capital, in uppercase, I can as well write it in lowercase and it will still accept it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just want to be sure. I'm sorry I got in late. Are you calling SQL Sql?
Yeah.
I don't see any Sql. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I'm calling Sql.
Yes, it's called Sql too.
Okay, thank you.
It is not a Sql, it is Sql. Okay, so select. Now, the last time we saw that if we want to use the select command, then we need the various names of the column headers. So that's why I said earlier on that you need to know what is inside your table. At the moment, I know what is inside these tables. So I will just say, okay, let me use the common one. This select star selects everything, all the column heads, all the column headers within the table. That is the first Sql statement. It selects all the column heads. So let's see what is going to happen. However, you do need your table. So select star. That means that this statement, the first line, line 1, simply is saying that select every column header that you have within the table. But which table are we going to select from? So that brings us to the next line where we have the from command. From, where are we selecting it from? Let's say we are selecting from employees. So we are selecting from employees, right? If we run this is a Sql command. If we run it, we click on execute, it will run it. It will give us all the information in the employee table. Everything. So you see that in the employee table, we have person ID, we have employee number. Let me do something else.
Sorry, I can't see the employee table among the list.
Pardon?
I said I can't really see the employee table among the lists. I don't know if I'm wrong.
This is the employee table. What you are seeing down here, can you see the 100%?
Yeah, sure.
Can you see results?
Yeah, but I thought the table, definition of the table is from the Objects Explorer, the one at the side. From the.
You mean you can't see that it is an employee table?
Where is the employee? Where is the source?
This is the employee table. This here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything here is the employee table. Okay.
Yep. No.
Right. So instead of select all, we could have said that select person ID. We can select person ID. It's not copying. Let me. Person ID. And then employee number. We want also to select the start date. End dates. That is the dates the employee ended work. End dates. We want to select the person's title. First name. Surname. Their birth dates. Gender. Address ID. The dates and time this person was added. And date and time it was modified, if there is any modification. Right, so if we run this, it would give us the same thing. You would see that there will be no change. Now, to make sure that there is no change, let's just see. How many, can anybody see this part of where the cursor is moving? Can anyone see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, how many rows of
Yes.
data do we have there?
136. 136.
136. Okay, let's run this statement and see. It gives us the same thing. There is no change with the same column headers, no change at all. So this statement and that statement are the same and one thing. They are the same thing, right? They are the same thing. However, when you go into an organization, I said I wasn't going to delete anything. So I'll keep everything so that I can send in a notepad. So let me say this is query 1. Query 1A. B, 1A, 1B. Now, if you are in an organization, there is one thing we need to be aware of. And it is that you can't just go into an organization the first time and then you go onto their database and go and run this query. What could potentially happen is that you could just crash the system. Why is that? Assuming the database has got 1 billion rows of data, and you say you want everything, you might take up all computing capacity to the extent that no one in the organization will be able to work. Assuming, for example, you are employed by Facebook and they tell you that run a query on their database, and then you just go into the Facebook database and you say select all Facebook users, select star from Facebook users. It's going to give you literally everybody in the world, because I think almost everybody is on Facebook, or maybe half of the population of the world. Now, that is quite a huge volume of data. So the best thing is to have an idea of the data that you are going to be working with. So the most important thing for you when you are running your queries is for you to know these column headers. Know what these columns, know the tables, and know the column headers of the tables. Those are the most important things. So how do you have an idea of the column headers of the tables? You can restrict the number of rows of data. You can restrict the number of rows that your query would produce. So for example, how do we go about this? Let's say we do this. So here you see that we have 136 rows of data, right? Select, we want just the top 10 or top 7. Select top 7, everything from the top 7, all the column heads of the top 7, right? From employees. Employees. Now let's see what would happen if we run this. Let's see what would happen when we run this. This gives us just the top 7 of what we have in the database. So if Facebook employs you and they say run a query on the database, on their database, and you really do not know what is inside the database, it's best for you to take a precautionary measure like this. This gives you an idea of what kind of data you have in the database. And with this, you are able to at least you know what is there, so you can maneuver your way around after knowing what you have in the table and then the column headers. So that is our query 1C.
Sorry, can I quickly ask one question, please?
Yes.
If you look at the table, to the side, the numbering is 1 to 7. But when you look at 1001 to 1006, why is that double there, the 3, 4 in the table?
Which one?
Is there for a reason. If you look at the table under the 100%, you see the 1, 2, 3 to 7.
Yeah.
And then the person's ID.
Yeah.
10001. Then you have 2, you have 3, then you have 4. 3, 4. Okay. And then you have 004. Is that for a reason, or?
Oh, you mean this? ID? Why this is here? Like
yes.
Rule 4.
Yeah.
You are referring to Rule 4. No, it's not. That's just how the database has been populated.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
That's okay. So now we want to retrieve, having known what we have in this database. Sometimes it's not all of this information that we need. It's not everything. So we can also, just as we can restrict the number of rows that we want to see, we can also restrict the number of columns. But in this particular instance, we need to specifically specify the columns that we want. So this one, let me say to restrict. or to retrieve specific columns. Retrieve. Yeah, that's better. Retrieve. Specific columns. So let's see how we can do that. Again, we would go here. Let me just copy this again. Which columns do we want? Let's assume we just want employee ID, employee number, the start date, and their end date. Oh no, we definitely want their first name and okay, let's say we just want start date, end date, their title, and then first name, surname. We don't want any of these ones. So let's get rid of them. Right? If we run this query now, we will just have what we asked for. So you get what you ask for. You don't get more, you don't get less. You get just what you ask for, right? Okay.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
Increase those numbers on the vertical side of it. Do you press enter?
Come again.
How you were able to get the numbers on the side, on the left side of the query that you're writing? Is it enter that brings them up, or
Oh, okay. How I
Yes.
get these results, you mean?
No, how it gets to the next number. I think
Oh, how I
number,
get the next number. Yes, I press enter.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I press enter.
Yes, please let me quickly also ask. Please, I don't know whether you have mentioned this at the beginning.
Okay.
Please, where exactly do we apply this SQL, this SQL application?
What's your role, sir?
QA.
Okay. There are certain tests you will be running where you will be, your knowledge in SQL would be required. Your knowledge in SQL will at times as a QA be required.
Okay.
And if you are a data analyst, then you definitely, like no brainer, need this. Even BAs need it.
Okay.
Yeah. QAs need it, BAs need it. Everybody needs SQL actually.
Okay.
Almost everybody.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Now I'm going to do something else. Query 4. Oh, query 3. Our query 3 is a different keyword. We're going to introduce another word. And we would use this, we will introduce this word by looking at another table. And that is the use of the word distinct. But before we use the word distinct, let's look at this table. Let's see, we will look at courses table. Where is it? Yeah, we have the courses here. So let's run a query on courses. Let's run this query and see what it would give us. Right, this is what it gives us. This is not what I'm expecting. This is not what I want. Okay, let me change the table. Let's say we use trading table. Let's see, is this, yeah, it's got training. All right, this is okay. So we can use this to explain distinct. So at this point, I haven't yet used the word distinct. I haven't done it there. I've just retrieved all the data under the training table, just as we retrieve all the data under the employee table. So we haven't done anything here yet, right? But let's see. Let's just look at something. Select. We now want to specify. We don't want just everything. We want to specify a particular column that we need. Let's say we want courses ID. Course ID. Let's run this query and see what it would give us. Can we see what it has given us? 11111. Do we want to see 111? All this all the way down. So it's just given us the course IDs. Now, assuming your manager asks you to provide him or her with the course IDs in Blue Sky, assuming your Scrum Master asks you, Mr. Lagbaja, can you please provide us with all the course IDs that Blue Sky offers? Now, assuming, you see, all these course IDs from the training table are IDs because of people who are enrolled on the courses. So Mr. A is on course 1, Mr. B, C, D, E, F, they are all on course 1. And it has listed all the course 1s here. But that is not what your manager is asking you for. Your manager is just saying that, give me the courses ID that we have in Blue Sky Citadel. Will this be the table? Will this be the results? Will this be the outputs that you would give to your manager? He or she would straight away know that you are not competent. If you return this result to your boss, they will know you are not competent. So what do? That is where the use of the word distinct comes in. Now let's see what happens when we use the word distinct. Distinct. Let's see what happens now. Can somebody see a difference?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
shorter.
Yes.
Does this not
1,
look
2, 3,
better?
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
No, yes,
Better.
yes.
So when you produce this to your manager, say, oh yes, we have 7
So we have
courses.
7 people.
Exactly. No, we don't have 7 people.
I mean, okay.
We have
Blue Sky
75.
Citadel has maybe, assuming there are like,
IDs.
pardon?
Hmm.
Somebody said something just now.
7 ID.
Yeah, there are 7 courses. So in Blue Sky Citadel, there are 7 courses, and these are the course IDs, right? So it does away with duplication. And this keyword here, this distinct word, removes duplication from the statement, from the output. Right. Let's get on. Let's now use another table. This time we want to see if we can do, remember the last time we did Sql, we did some calculations. We were calculating salary and we were looking at who has the higher, the pay and all that sort of thing. So let's now see if we can get a table that has that information. I think if you look here, you would see that the most likely table would be the table that has pay elements, right? So let's see if we can have some calculated, if we can do some calculations with Sql. Let's see if we can do that. But before we do that, let's see what the table has. I can safely select all here because one, I know what the table has, and then also it hasn't got many rows. We just have 136 rows of data. That is like chicken change. So where are we selecting this from? We're taking this from pay elements. That is the table we are using. Here we're using this because we want to have some calculated fields. This will be query 4, yeah?
Excuse me?
Oh, I said it will be query 4.
Sorry, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, you can. Yeah, go ahead.
How do you choose? How do you select next query? What do you press? How do you go? Where do you get to next query?
How do you, what do you mean? I don't understand your question.
You have a select distance from, then you go to the next query 4. So if you want to go down there, are you going to click on the number, the next number?
No, he said enter, enter.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean to get from here to there?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so from here, when I finish running this query,
yeah,
which produce this result, that is the end of this query. So I just press enter to write this one.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
So I am actually writing this in real time as we speak.
All right.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah,
yeah?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I add to that, please?
Come again?
Can I add to that question? When you click enter, must it be this space? Like at least like you dropping down 3 or 4 times?
No, not at all. Remember, were you at the last lesson?
Yes.
Yeah, so we did mention that Sql is free format. So it doesn't, look at here, look here, how many spaces are here? 1, here I have 1, 2, here how many do I have? 1, 2, 1, 2, I can make it 4, 5. It doesn't matter at all.
Noted.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, it will produce the same thing. So long as you run the right query, you would have the results that you want. Right, so we are saying that we want to do some calculations, right? If we want to do calculations, then we need to select a table that we can work with, that we can do calculations from. So the most likely table here is the pay elements because it has figures. So we can work with that. So like I said, let's see what is there first. This is what we have in the pay elements. And in the pay elements, it shows the pay element ID, the person ID. Forget about the job, forget about the dates, forget about the end dates. It shows the type of pay they get, pay type, and it shows the pay value that they get. You see that some of them are on salary, some of them are hourly paid. So this is what we have from the pay elements.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I have two questions. Number one, do we have access to the video of the previous class for the Sql? That's one. Then two, how do we have to familiarize ourselves with the table before we go on querying, on the Sql query, or how do we know what is involved? I know in the you mentioned, how to generate the 4.7 and all that, but how do we know everything that is populated in the table? Please, thank you.
So when you say everything that is populated in the table, assuming a table has 1 million rows, how will you know everything that is there?
Perhaps maybe I will familiarize myself with the table before.
Yes, so it's the best thing is to familiarize yourself with the table. There are certain basic things that you will need to know about the table. And these things the main thing is for you to know what is inside the database, the tables that are inside the database, because if you don't know the tables that are within the database, then you would not know where to select from. And if you do not know the column headers, you will not know what to select. So if you see here, we said select specific to retrieve specific columns. If you do not know that if you do not know that within employees, there is a person ID, there is a employee number, there's a start date, end date, title. If you don't know these, let me even take some off, and then we will see. I think, okay, let me run this again. Right, this is what we have from this table, right? Let me take some off. Let me take some off so that you see that some of these things can easily be taken out. And let's run it. So let's run this one now. So this time, this is just what we have. What you ask for is what you get. Right? So if you do not know that there is employee ID, how would you ask for it? Which is why it is best when you don't know what is inside the table, run this kind of query. That gives you an idea of all the column headers, the names of the column headers, and then you are able to maneuver your way around. Does that explain your question?
Yes, thank you.
Cool. So I said we should, so you would see that every time I want to run a query, I say, let's look at what is inside the table so that we are able to know which columns we're going to use. So if we run this query, this is what we have. But if we are to do calculations, then we will need just this table, isn't it? This column, isn't it? Yeah. But let's see, we might need a few more things. So let's say we just select a few columns from here. Let's select just a few columns and use it first.
Hello, please, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So thank you for this kind of training. You said we can download the the server, SQL Server 2019. Yeah. In a real life setting, where do we get all this data? Is it that we are going to download the company data into that server, or how do we have access to or we create the data? How do we have access to all this database that are going to get all this information if we want to format
Right.
this data?
Let's assume you are employed by Sainsbury's. Right? Assuming you are employed by Sainsbury's, would they have data?
Yes, they will have data, yeah.
Yes, and they would have the data stored somewhere in a database.
Yeah.
Right? So they already have the data. And if they don't have the data, and unfortunately, you are probably the data analyst or the data administrator, then you would have to, they would have the data somewhere. It could be in manual files. Like we did a week and a half or so ago. We had the data in manual files. Right? Remember this, where is the table I shared? Remember this table that I shared?
Okay. I was not
we have
there.
The data.
Yeah, I think this is my first class.
Okay. So here we have the data, but you cannot retrieve automatically. This is hard work, manually. So if you to run a query on this, it's going to be real tough. But the server, the Sql server or any database management system makes the work so very easy. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. How do we import those down? So are we going to import the server on this SQL server, or how does it work in the real life setting? Or I mean, I don't think if you get my question.
Can you clarify, please?
Okay. Now we are using SQL server. Now, do we import the company data into this server in order to format it or to get those information?
No, you're not going to format the company's data.
You're
just going to retrieve information.
Yeah, retrieve, yeah.
You would only format the company data. If you are not the data administrator, you can't, you see, access would be restricted to what you can do on a company database.
Yeah. I think the question is asking is, how do you get the data into SQL Server?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, which is by maybe import.
Okay.
You've kind of addressed it before now, actually. Maybe I don't know whether the person that asked the question joined later.
No, yes, this is my first class, yeah.
Yeah, because even in this class, I think Godwin already addressed that. He said that when you install SQL Server, this data will not be there automatically. You have to import it in, right? So for you to be able to see, actually. But
okay, how do we import it?
I also sent a message out. This is one of the classes that we do. It's not the full class anyway. So there's another class on Friday. I'm not sure. I will take it that you are not in the internship, right? Is that right?
I'm in the internship.
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. Because this is majorly for the DA anyway. So, but there's normally a class that they do on Friday that they go through it again. But what we can do, I'll ask Gordon maybe next week. He can start, with the import so that you guys can see the different way to import this thing, maybe from SQL. I think you did the SQL last time from the spreadsheet, right?
We did. This is what we did the last time. Yeah. This is what we had the last week or so.
Yeah, you can import from spreadsheet or like that. Anyway,
please,
we have it in. Yeah, you can import from here.
Yeah, but let's continue this maybe next week so that we don't go all over the place. So maybe when Godwin comes back, he would kind of put everything together so that you see how data are imported into SQL Server. So you're going to see that level as well, if that's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for your help. It's the first time, we just saw the link for the QAs to join the class. So it's my first time here, so I don't know how it really was. Thank you for that clarification.
Is there a link to the previous class, please? If we could go watch it.
Yeah, the video is online and as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's make progress. Let's make progress. So let's assume we want this. Let's run this query now and see what it would give us. So now we have restricted our view, right? We have just chosen pay elements, ID, person ID, and pay value. You see all of this, most of it is going to be cut off. This is all that we have. This is what we are interested in. But we can take this a step further by doing a calculation on this. Instead of just the pay value, let's assume we want just the monthly salary. You see, these people are paid hourly. Remember? Look at this one. This is hourly paid. These are salaried. So let's just focus on those who are paid salary. Let's just focus on those who are paid salary. That brings in another clause. I didn't want to introduce that clause now, but I am forced to. I'll introduce it briefly, but we will come back to it to deal with it. Right? So I'm going to introduce it. Don't ask me any questions on that clause yet until we have finished dealing with it. And that clause is called the where clause. So I'm going to introduce that now just to explain something, right? Just so that I can separate the salaries from the hourly pays. Hourly paid workers, okay? So let's run a query for that. So if we want to do this, let me say we want to have pay value. We want the salary, right? Okay, let me do this separately. Let me do this another way. Pay value divided by 12. That gives us the value divided by 12 will give us a monthly salary for those who are on salary, right? But it doesn't make sense for those who are hourly paid, does it? How can you say this is somebody's monthly salary? These people are paid hourly. So their pay value is hourly pay value. It's not salaried. So we need to put a different clause here. Okay, let me first of all run this and you see how much it doesn't make sense. You see that this doesn't really make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. Somebody works, they say the pay value is this, and you are saying that they get paid that. No. So we don't want this part of the table. So what do? We introduce another keyword where pay value or pay type, where the pay type to explain this, let me go back here. To explain why I'm saying pay type, let me go back here. You see that salary and hourly pay, they are under pay type, right? They are under pay type. So if I want to differentiate between salary paid workers and hourly paid workers, then I must use the pay type column. I get that information from the pay type column. So this should be where pay type is equal to salaried. Okay, is equal to salaried, and this must be in inverted commas. Is equal to salaried. So if we run this, it only selects those people who are on salary. You see, that gives us just 15 people in the whole organization who are on salary, and it gives us their monthly salary.
Hello, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a suggestion. I'm thinking, why don't we put the pay type out of the into the select statement, so it could be kind of visually appealing, so we see that the all selected stuff are actually salaried.
Oh, you mean here? We should put it here
in the select statement.
In the select statement here.
Pay type in the next one.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. It doesn't change anything at all.
It doesn't change anything.
Yeah, we can do that. We can put it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Pay value, pay type. Yeah, we can do that. Let's run it again. Just create another column. That's all. See that? Salaried. Right. So let's make progress. Now there's something here. The last time we did this, I did mention that if you like this pay value divided this here, that we have created a column for monthly salary, pay value divided by 12. We didn't give it any name. In certain Sql servers, Sql databases, the system may decide to give it a name for you if you don't give it a name. I think I mentioned that when we did the, where is that? When we did this calculated fields here, let me see if it's here now. Let me see where it is, salary. And if I don't find it, yeah. When we did this, I mentioned it here, right? So here it would normally give it a name if you don't give it, but it is best for you to give it a name. So you can call this as monthly salary. Monthly salary. Salary. And if we run it, you will see that it will change this column name to monthly salary. Okay, so that's what has happened here.
Please, I want to ask a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I can see that you are using underscore. Is it a must that between any two words, you must introduce underscore?
Okay, let me not use the underscore. Let's see what would happen. But is it good for visual representation? Let's see what would happen. Okay, let's see again what would happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see what has happened?
Yes.
So do you think There's a reason why that is.
So it's part of the code.
It's part of the code. Sql cannot recognize, it doesn't recognize what you want to do here. It is now confused. So it doesn't recognize it, doesn't accept it. So it tells you that incorrect syntax.
Okay.
Right? So it is part of the Sql syntax.
Okay, thank you.
That's cool. Right, so now let's go to the where clause. Let's talk about the where clause. Now, the where clause, or let me ask a question. Let me ask this question rather than just go on. Let me just ask the question. When do you think we should use the where clause? From what we know here.
I think the where clause is to be used where we want to specify a particular column.
Column? No, not column.
Yeah, well,
okay, let's
look
at something. Look at something before the next person speaks. Just look at this. Look at this. And then this has produced everything. And then let's look at that. Here, how many rows of data do we have? You can see the number of rows here.
15 rows, yeah.
Okay. Now, what do we have here?
Three.
How many rows do we have?
147.
So when do we need the where clause?
I think we need the where clause to just specify a condition.
Okay, so why would we need it?
Or when we want to differentiate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. When we want to differentiate, but okay, that's very good. And also when we want to restrict the number of rows that we want to display based on a particular condition. That is when we use the where clause based on a particular condition. Now, there are 5 main conditions when we use the where clause. So I'm going to stop running this for a while. Let me just use this to take care of everything. Q is on the call. I think by now you know you know what this is for. When you want to comment out things, you can use this. It is QS, you would use it a lot. In Sql, you can also use that. So there are 5 main conditions where we use the where clause. So if I start with this, I don't need these ones anymore. Right? I don't need that anymore. Everything is taken care of. Why am I typing like that? There are 5 main conditions. 5 basic search conditions. Under which we use the where clause. Now let's take one. Condition 1. This is for comparison. comparison condition. Comparison condition, where the value of one expression is compared to another. Where the value of one expression is compared to one another.
Can you please mute when you are not speaking, please?
Compared. I'm not a fast typer, so pardon me. Where the value of one condition is compared to another. Now we have a number of comparison. Any mathematicians in the house? Any mathematicians in the house?
Greater than or
Yes,
equal to?
yes.
Exactly. Number of comparison of operators. So comparison operators. We have equal
Less than,
to.
greater than, equal to.
We have equal to.
Yes.
We have less than. We have greater than.
Yeah.
Greater than, equal to.
Greater than, less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. We have greater than or equal to.
Not equal
we have
to.
Not equal to.
Yes.
And not equal to. Not equal to. These two are the same. Not equal to, the last two are both not equal to. Right? Okay, so these are the comparison operators that we have. So let's see how we can. So that's condition one for comparison. Condition two. This is the big part for today, actually. It's going to take quite a while. Range comparison. Range. Range comparison. Now, what does this do? This tests whether the value of an expression falls within a certain specified range of values. Whether the value of an expression falls within . Okay, so that's range comparison. Then we have set membership. So range comparison will be something like between, not between. Between, not between. Then we have set membership. Where is a value or an expression equals one of the set values of or is a member of a particular set. Member of a set. And that is, we use here, well, that's like in, not in. In, not in. Then we have the fourth one, pattern match. Pattern match. Now this tests whether a value or string matches another pattern. Matches. Who can tell me what word would be okay for this?
Similar.
So here we have a word like, I've actually used the word. Like.
Similar.
Not like. Like and not like. Then we have the fifth word condition, null. Now this test whether a column has a null value. This null here is quite controversial. It can be very confusing, but we will deal with it. So I need to close this now so that we can. So this is the start of our comment. This begins our comment, and this ends it, right? So the next thing I can type would be the real thing. So let's see. From our pair of elements, let's see what we can do. Pay elements, select pay elements, select all from pay elements. Comparison. Let's first do the comparison. Let's use the comparison operator. One of them is equal to, another one is greater than, less than, all of them. So it doesn't matter which one we use. It doesn't matter which one we use. We use one and it satisfies all the other ones, right? So let's see. Select from pay elements where pay value where pay value what should we do? Greater than 30K. Let's see what that will give us. Right, so we have select from pay elements, select everything from pay elements where pay value is 30,000. Is greater, sorry, is greater than 30,000. So you see that it has given us everything here is greater than 30,000. Everything here is greater than 30,000. We can change the condition to anything that we want. Let's use less than and see what happens. Everything here is less than 30K. Everything here is less than 30,000, right? Let me call this 5.1. Query 5.1. Is that okay? We can go one step further to do what is called the compound comparison search. Compound comparison. Now, what does that mean? That means that we are going to use not just one, but more than one conditions of search, right? So let's see what that would give, how we can do that. Let me copy this again. So this is 5.2 or 5.12. Five point 1.2.
But we don't join first class now.
Right, so this is the query we have here. The same one we have repeated here, but we want to add a few more things. We can say or end date end date What does this statement mean? Anyone can read it, can tell us what this part of the statement means? This part?
End date not equal to empty.
End date is not null. Okay, so let's see. We will come back to this null's case. Null is a stubborn case. We'll come back to it soon. So this is what we have. So we have end date is not null. This is or, right? The or statement, either this or that. So for those of us, those people who did sets, is it union intersection of sets? I think this one is a union, right? Union of sets, I think so. Let me copy that. We can repeat this and use the and so that we can see the difference. It is both this and that. That is what this one gives us. So soon we would see why this one doesn't give us anything. We would soon see why this one doesn't give us anything. So just mark this down Let me put it in comments. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to this one, yeah? Let's look at it again and see. Let's look at another one and see what happens with that 1, 2. And we might have to put that one also in quotes, in comments. So this time we are saying that where end date is equal to null. Let's run this and see what that 1, 2 would give us. This is what this gives us. Okay, but we'll come back to this null thing towards the end of this lesson. Let's run this again with another statement. Job ID is greater than, say, 6. See, we have job IDs here. We can run this. So there's flexibility in Sql. You can manipulate the figures. You can manipulate data as you want. You see that all the results here would give us either 30,000 or this is an or statement. So though you see job ID is equal to 4 here, because it is less, this one here is probably less than 30,000. Of course it is. See what the value that is there. And same for the 5. See what is here. Right. If we were to do another one, and we change this to and, let's see what this gives us. So this gives us where the job value is less than, no, let me use greater than. That will give us something, that will give us, let me use greater than to do this. And let's see what that gives us. Yeah, let's see. So here the job ID is greater than 6 and the salary is greater than 30K. That is what we have here. This is clearer, isn't it? This is clearer. Right. So now let's do 5.2. And this is the range condition. Mind you, we said range is where something lies between a certain set of values. It should be between or not between. right? So let's see. Where do we take this from? Let's go back to our pay elements. Let's go back to pay elements. Oh, okay, let me get it back. So let me go back to pay elements. We want to use the between clause. So where pay value between, what figure should we use? Anybody give us an idea? Okay, let's say 40K and 60,000. Right? Let's see what that gives us. These are the only people in the organization who earn between 40,000 and 60,000. And that's where I think the QAs and the BAs and the DAs, they are looking to earn at least this, right? Now, this between clause has the end values inclusive. So 40, if there was a 40,000 mark here, it should have been here. The same as if there was something 60,000, it should have been here, right? So these boundaries are inclusive of the range that we are talking about. They would be there. And if we were to do not between, you would see that we will get everything outside of this range. Not between. We'll get everything outside of that range. So we have all the roadside mechanics and garage boys, all of them are here. Right, so let's go on to query 5.3. That is our set membership.
5.4.
Pardon?
5.4.
No, 5.3. The last one we did was 5.2. The first one was the comparison. Then we did range. Now we're doing the set membership. Anyway, we'll get there. Set membership condition. And this is in or not in. So you see that the format is the same, making it quite easy to handle Sql once you get a grip of it. Once you get a grip of it, it's quite easy to handle. Now for this, we will use another table. To give us a bit of flexibility. Okay, let's talk about people who are married and those who are not married. Right? Let's see. So let's say we select all from, where would that come from? this table here. Right? And the table is called what? Marital status. Select all from marital status. Something is wrong. Who can tell me what is wrong here? Marital is on the line. What is wrong?
The
Marital status is not
the function is not recognized.
The what?
The underscore.
The function is not in the database.
Oh, thank you. You're catching on. You guys are brilliant. You're brilliant, honestly.
Okay.
So when we execute this, we have everything. Those who are married, those who are separated, divorced, those who are cohabiting, single, we have everything here. Right? Those who are widowed, we have everything. But how do we use this? Let's see. Again, we use the where clause, right? Where marital status. Marital status. In the thing with this is the condition needs to be in quotes and in brackets. Married. Let me just write it like it shows here, married. And let's run this and see what we have. So this gives us all those who belong to the group, who are in the group of married people. They are in there, right? All these are in the group of married people. That's the only output it gives us. So if we were to say not married or not in married, then we would have another result. Sorry.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I understand this in brings the information for the married people. What if we use the where clause with, like, if marital status equals married?
We'll try it and see.
Easy, okay.
We'll try it. Let's do this first. So you see, this produces every other person who is not married, right? Let's say we have a compound condition. That means one or two or more. So married and also cohabiting. Cohabiting. cohabit. So this should be in quotes. That is why it's throwing an error. Married and cohabiting. Let's run the query and see. So it produces all those who are married and all those who are cohabiting. Right? All married and cohabiting. Somebody said we should use equal. Let's see whether that would work. Given we're dealing with strings. Let's see if it would work. Ah.
No, sorry, I don't expect the bracket to still be there, just equals to.
Okay, all right,
married.
okay, cool. I like that. Let's see if it would work.
It won't work.
Let's see. Oh,
Let's see.
Let's see. You never can tell.
Oh.
Why is it not gonna work? What make you think it's not gonna work?
All right, now let's remove this.
There must be. Did work?
Already it's thrown an error. Yeah. So straight away, you know that it's not going to work.
Yeah, because married is strong.
Right? But that's a good question, actually. Yeah, it did work. It's equal to. So this is using the comparison operator. It's using a comparison operator. Equal to. Right. So let's make progress. Pattern match. That's another one. We said these are the ones that would have like and not like, right? The condition, pattern match condition is like, not like.
Yes.
Like. That's like. Let's see. There are a number of instances of this where we can use this. Let's take a table that we can. Let's use another table. Let's say we want to use addresses table. Select everything from addresses. Okay, let's see. Before we go into talking about the different options. This is our addresses table. A lot of data here. So how do we go about getting information, any meaningful information from this? Assuming your manager tells you, Olugbega, can you give me the names of all people who have Middlesex in their address. How will you go about that? Or the names of everybody who has an address with a letter starting with M. An address that the one of the starting letters is M. How will you treat that? Because that's possible. Assuming the police are making an investigation, they're looking for evidence. They run wild queries. They don't, sometimes from blind spots, they don't know what to do. So how do they go about gathering the data that they need? Now, there is what we call the wild card. So in this particular instance, in this particular pattern search, you see, this is a pattern. You're looking for a pattern. You're not looking for something specific. You're looking for something that looks like, or something that doesn't look like. So you want to follow a certain pattern, right? So you use the wild card. And there are various instances of the wild card, which we are going to talk about. Instances. How do you spell instance? Instances of the wild card. Who knows the sign for the wild card? Anyone who knows the sign for the wild card?
Okay.
Can I get some reaction?
For the wild card?
Yeah.
That's a percentage sign, I think.
Beautiful, the percentage symbol.
Yeah.
We also have underscore, actually. We can also have underscore as a wild card. But we'll look at the percentage first. 1, the first part of it. So this is 5.41. 5.4.1. So when an addresses like did I spell addresses correctly? Is it double S? Double D, double S, isn't it? Addresses like again, it has to be in quotes. And the wildcard. So what is that saying? Now, this here simply means that we are looking for an address, right? The first letter of the address must start with H. Remember, I said the police are looking for evidence and then they don't know how to go. So they make guesses. They use a wild card. So they can assume something and then use a wild card to get the rest. So the first letter of the address starts with H, right? That is what it means. We're looking for an address. It doesn't matter what the address is, but we want all addresses with the first letter starting with H. It doesn't matter what the remaining part of the address is. So long as the first letter is H, that is what we are looking for. Right? So let me put little notes here so that when I send this to you, we can you can follow it up. So this means first letter must be H. The rest can be anything. Can be anything. The second part of it, 5.4.2. I'm just going to switch this around. Who can tell us what this means?
That the last alphabet and that search should be K.
Yeah. So this means that the first part of the address can be anything. The rest, the last character must be a K. The first part of address can be anything. The last character must be a K. Right. 5.3, 5.4.3. Who lives in London or Birmingham or Glasgow? Glasgow. Glasgow. Did I get the spelling correct? I think so. I'm not sure. What does this mean? Who can tell us what this means?
This means Glasgow should appear anywhere in the address.
Exactly. Glasgow should appear anywhere in the address. It doesn't matter where it is, so long as the address has Glasgow, that is what we are looking for. Should appear in the address. So I guess somebody will know what this means. Yeah, what will this mean?
Glasgow should not be in the address.
Glasgow should not be in the address. Glasgow should not. We want to eliminate that. Be in address. Right. Let's look at a different option of this. What will this mean?
The address should not begin with a H.
Beautiful. The first character cannot be an H. That's what it means. Right. So let's make some progress. Then we have instances of the underscore. 5.2. 5.5, sorry. Instances of the underscore. That is this one. That's the underscore. Right. We can have 5.5.1. There are just two types of this. 5.5.1. We have something like addresses like right. What will this mean? Right. This will mean that this let me say name, or this here has to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, with the first one being an H. I put the spaces here so that it shows the number of characters that are there, right? But ideally the spaces should not be there, because when you are writing, if I'm writing underscore, I will not write underscore like this, right? But I just put the spaces there to specify, to show us clearly what it is. So this has to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, with the first one being an H. And in like manner, if we have this, then this also has to have 5 characters, the last one being a P. Right? So these are the wildcards that we will be using. These are the wildcards that we will come across. So assuming we run a query, let's run just one query on this. Oops, it's 11 o'clock. How many people are going to work tomorrow? We'll finish in a bit.
Everybody.
We'll finish in a bit, don't worry. Select. We'll finish in the next 15 minutes. Select all. I said we should use address table, right? From addresses, where we've seen the addresses, right? We've seen what is the table, the column headers of the addresses. So we can choose any one. Let's say address line 4. Address line 4, like. And then we put a wildcard there because we don't know what exactly it is. Let's say we have Middlesex. Let's use Middlesex. Right. If we run this query, the other way around. If we run this, let's see what it produces. We selected from address line 4, right? This is address line 4. And we said it should give us any address that has Middlesex in it. And that is what it has given us. Any address that has Middlesex in it. That's what it has given us. Right? So assuming we did something like select from addresses, address line 3. And we say like one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's see. So this has given us, we selected from address line 3, all addresses that start with S, that have in line 3, that have S, but have how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. So this is what it produced for us. Let me add another one and see if it will give us anything different. I'm not sure, but let's see. Oh, yeah, it has. It has actually given us another one here. Yeah. So you see how we can easily manipulate data to get the information that we want using Sql. We can easily manipulate data to get information that we want. Right. Now let's see the null statement. But before we look at the null condition, what is null? Who can tell us what null is? What exactly do we mean when we say null? Something is null.
Null is kind of empty.
Pardon?
No value, empty.
Like zero.
Did you say no value?
Yeah. No, it doesn't have any value. It's empty.
Zero,
Empty
empty.
set.
Zero is an input.
Pardon?
Empty set.
I said zero might be an input. I don't know. But an empty
Empty
cell
set.
is null. Yeah, something empty, no value.
Well,
like a blank, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I see.
Invalid.
Invalid. Okay. I beg to disagree with all these answers. In Sql, null simply means that we do not know the value of what is there. That is what it means. We don't know the value. The value is unknown, right? The value of a null statement is unknown. That is why we use the quotes to show it, simply because we don't know it.
Sorry, Godwin. Are you saying this null, for example, can hold hidden, what's it called, inputs? Because
yes, it can.
Okay,
that's
so
exactly what I'm saying.
So it's not just empty. It could hold.
No, it's not. It's not just empty. We just don't know what is there.
Okay. All right, I get it.
Yeah, we don't know what is there. So let's see. Let's see. Let's go back to. Let me see what I have here. Null condition is not null, null, not null. Null, not null. Sorry. And that is 5.5, 5.5, 5.6. You remember I told you we'll come back to something. Where is it? Let me see. I think I commented it out. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? When the first time we used null, I said we'll come back to it. Oh yeah, this one. Let me copy it and then we'll go and see something. We have this. If we run this, it will run all right. But you will see in a bit what would happen. What happened here? Okay, let me use the OR statement. OR. This will run all right. Simply because it's OR. When we use the AND, you saw that it didn't run at all. It gave us nothing. But let's go a little bit deeper into this. Let me take away that.
Godwin, after this,
yes.
Can we take a pause until next week, please? If that's okay. Thank you. So,
okay, sir.
Yeah. And if you can just do like a quick summary so that people know where we are, then next week we can, pick that up. And because I know the way you are going, you can stay till midnight. I pass. It's infectious. I pass it to you. All right. Thank you.
Okay, sir. We will close in the next 5 minutes. Let's say we have the square end dates. Let me take this all the way down here. Let's see if this will run, yeah? And then this will be the last one, okay? Now, so who can tell me why this didn't run, but the other state? Why is this not running? Why did this not, no, it has run actually, but why did it not produce any results?
Because you don't have quotation marks in your no.
Okay, let's see if that would help. But I actually doubt it would help. Let's see though. Let's see if it would help. But you've changed, this has changed it to something else. So. Syntax error. So this is even worse. Yeah. Anyone can tell us why this did not yield any results? Remember, I told you.
It does not know the end date of.
No. That's not why it didn't run. Remember, I told you.
There's no end date that is not known. That the value isn't known.
Okay. No, there are end dates that the values are known.
I mean, that's
there
why
are
it
end
didn't
dates
run.
there. Pardon? Do you want us to run that? Let's just run it and see. There are end dates with known values in the database. End dates, see that's one. This has got an end date. This has end date. This has end date. This has end date. So that's not the reason.
Or maybe you're using, instead of the equal to, should be is, but because if you're saying it's equal to, that means you're saying that there's a value called null in there.
Ah, you have said something really nice. But I would have just loved it if you had hit the nail on the head. But because of time, let me just say it. Remember, I told you earlier on that null in Sql means a value that we simply don't know. We don't know what it is. So how can you equate something to something you don't know? Is that making sense now?
So we use like.
So when he said we should use is here, let's see what would happen if we use is. Let's see if this will run. What has happened? End date is null. That has run and has yielded results. But when we put equality here, you cannot equate something you don't know to another thing. That you simply can't do that.
So just Godwin, can I say, I mean, if that means you can, this word null, you can't have it as an input in any row or any cell. Is that correct, or it's bad?
No, you can have it. You don't know it. That's why it's there. For example, if you employ somebody today, do you know the dates they will be living?
No, I'm saying if you put null as a word inside, I mean, inside that field, inside that cell, is it allowed to have it in there? So instead of it being null, like you don't know it, but null as a word itself, as a text, string of text, is it allowed to have it when you input
null
it
as a text?
Yeah.
When, for example, null is, let's say, somebody's name.
Yes,
exactly. That's different. That's completely different. You'll be taking that from, yeah, that's something different, right? Assuming it's somebody's name, if it was under name and we say where first name, for example, is null, it will come out, right? But here we are saying that we are equating something we don't know to this. So that's not going to yield any results. And mind you, that one would have been in quotes. That one would have been in quotes. It wouldn't just be like this, right? Okay, any questions? So that we can round up in the next 5 minutes. Right, so today we have looked at basics of SQL. We have seen how we can retrieve data, how we can use the distinct word to show better results. We have seen how we can do calculations using SQL. We've seen the where clause and the variants of the where clause. We have also seen null and what null really means and how we can use null, right? So maybe next time we will look at, we might look at, to complete this very session, we would look at the order clause, the sorting, how to sort, order by clause. Some other time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Please, how can we have the recording?
Recorded. That admin
Question.
would post the recording.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Telegram group.
Yeah.
Admin will post the recording.